This story is about Medellin by the numbers. So if you don't like the facts, numbers are what numbers are. Let's jump into it. Follow along.
You're watching DC Born Rob, Racing Borders. And now, news.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. You're watching DC Born Rob, Racing Borders. I'm DC Rob. We're going to jump into this story. This is the one that I prefaced a couple of videos ago, and I wanted to get to you about the numbers, about everything that's going on, about the crime, the girls, the prices, everything, but it's by the numbers. So this was done by El Colombiano a few days ago, and I've been waiting until I was actually healthy enough to even read it. I'm still at about 90% right now. I did take an official COVID test today at Walgreens, and yes, it was positive for the first time. But I'm healthy. I don't have any issues right now. I mean, it's like the flu, and I'm going to keep it moving. The only thing is I don't get to see my girlfriend. My girlfriend is the gym. That's tough. That's a tough one for me. But anyway, let's jump into this story. Again, it's Medellin by the numbers. Deaths of foreign tourists in Medellin increased by 28% this year. The balance of the last 3 years is 59 dead tourists. Reports of the sexual abuse increased by 57%. In less than a week, Medellin saw 2 foreigners die in strange circumstances who had the objective of enjoying the city and celebrating a new anniversary of their birth there. This shows not only that the capital of Antioquia became a tourist epicenter, but also how exposed they are to violent deaths. According to the Tourism Observatory of the District Personnel of Medellin, this year 23 foreigners died violently in the city, not counting Venezuelan migrants, registering an increase compared to 2022 and 2021 when the date in both years they counted 18 cases, which represents a 28% increase. The statistical count carried out by the public ministry includes homicides, deaths due to drug and scopolamine overdoses, suicides, and accidental deaths, either in traffic or in other circumstances of people who have been in the city for less than 90 days. The most recent cases mentioned at the beginning were those of American Andrew Adeche Shoyoye and Johnny Jerome. The first two in fire caused by a chimenea and who died on Thursday at the San Vicente Fundación Hospital, and the second in a bathtub inside the hotel in El Poblado neighborhood. According to the statistical list, the foreigners who die the most in the city are Americans with 12 cases, followed by those from the United Kingdom with 3 cases, and the Argentines with 2, from Panama, Canada, France, Ghana, Mexico, Israel. One of their nationals has died. The number of deaths, like other crimes against foreigners, have been increasing as more people from other latitudes come to the city, wanting to come to the city for various reasons, said Carlos Calle, coordinator of the Tourism Observer of the Personeria. The causes that may lead them to be in a state of vulnerability may be related to the profile of the average tourist who comes to visit the city. Although it is speculative, it has to do with retired adults of a certain age or single people who come looking for nighttime entertainment. There are cases in which they have been doing an entire route through South America, Calle explained. In many cases, the mixture of liquor and narcotic substances consumed by foreigners can lead to them being exposed to situations of vulnerability that they end up causing their death. Deaths also are on the rise. The phenomenon of theft, which has also been related to the death of some of these tourists, is another critical point for the safety of visitors to the city. Based on the records of the information systems for security and coexistence, 261 thefts from foreigners have been recorded this year, and 48 cases were reported this quarter alone. If the data is compared to last year, there has been an increase since to date in 2022. There were 248 complaints from foreigners for theft from people, of which 16 were during the third quarter. What worries us most is the increase in Mexican victims of these thefts. We don't know if it is because they are coming from there more for other reasons, explained Coordinator Calle. So far this year, of the 261 reported cases, 176 were Mexican, while 31 were from the United States. Those from the United Kingdom were victims of 16 cases, 12 were from France, 10 from Israel, 9 from Peru, and 6 from Ecuador. The detainees. The authorities have captured 48 foreigners this year in Medellin for various crimes and violations in which they have been involved. Compared to last year, there's a reduction of 47% since by then 90 international tourists had been taken to the Protection Transfer Center. According to the report, 12 are from the United States, 8 are from Peru, 7 are from Ecuador, and 3 are from Mexico, stated the Medellin Security Secretariat. Of these, 34 were taken away due to the risk of being attacked, 13 due to aggressive or reckless behavior, and 8 due to being under the influence of intoxicating beverages or psychoactive substances. 6 more were arrested for being involved in fights. Although beyond these figures, it is foreigners who, due to excessive drug consumption, end up homeless and end up receiving care at the day centers. We have a record of about 30 people who we have found receiving this type of care because they end up in a condition due to the consumption of narcotics, says the ombudsman official. In addition, 380 people have been admitted to special shelters, including foreigners who have been involved in high-risk situations, mainly associated with emergencies or situations that have left them financially affected. Child sexual abuse. One of the biggest problems registered with these foreigners, according to the Secretariat and Social Inclusion of Medellin, is that this year, 1,395 complaints have been filed related to the sexual abuse of boys, girls, and adolescents. During the first quarter, 363 cases were reported, and for the second, 570 were registered, showing an increase of 57%. For the third quarter, 465 cases of this types of crime were reported, 18% less. In addition, this has led to 6 international tourists being captured for committing sexual crimes against minors in the city, the most recent being Shrikant Goduru, 38, who was arrested in mid-September at the El Dorado Airport in Bogota. In fact, the Directorate of Protection and Special Services of the National Police continues operations against foreigners who commit this type of violations and stated that they are carrying out investigations to make more arrests. Peaks of tourists. Although the Metropolitan Police announced that they maintain controls and guarantee the protection of tourists to visit the city, controls have been more intense at some times of the year when visitors increase. According to the Personería of Medellin, during Holy Week, the Flower Fair, and the December season, there are more tourists in the city from other countries, although not only because of these events as such, but also because of the situation that exists in their countries. It turns out that many of these foreigners choose these dates due to the climatic conditions of their countries, often escaping the cold or intense heat. They end up in Colombia, hence their assaults or deaths are often more frequent in these times, said the Personería office. The preferred areas for these tourists who are in comunas of Laureles, Estadio, and El Poblado, which is why most of these cases of thefts and deaths in the foreigners occur in these 2 areas, just as happened to these 2 foreigners who came to Medellin to celebrate their birthdays and end up in coffins. Okay, so there you go. This is the crime scene. This is why people are coming. This is abuse of kids. This is all this information by the numbers. First of all, I want to step back on that. On one of the ones that I just mentioned, the abuse of children. If you happen to be watching this video and you abuse children, you need to be disappeared. You need street justice. You need to, I'm trying to watch what I'm saying, but you need to be disappeared. For real. Don't watch my videos if you are this type of person. Just roll over and die. Simple as that. But I prefaced my video, 2 days ago, of my rerun of the homeless because of this story right here, because it mentioned the fact that most of the guys that go down to find themselves homeless are because of drugs. I've mentioned this before in a video. Who goes down there and do drugs? And people thought I was crazy. Rob, it's Colombia. And I'm like, yeah, but I mean, they got that bazooka. They got that 2CB. They got the other white stuff. Why? I don't get it. I mean, the only thing I can get is remember, and I'm going to get grief for saying this again too, but remember, alcohol, 1 drink and you are not yourself. And I still drink. I'm going to put that out there. So I just don't drink in excess anymore now. And I had to re-gauge that also, because now that I'm living a different lifestyle, I don't drink as much. So I can't drink as much, not like before anyway. So just remember, after that 1 or 2 or 3 drinks, you're not yourself, and you're more liable to try something else. You can call it a gateway or whatever, but you are not in the same right mind as you are when you're sober to make a decision like that when somebody rolls up on you, like the scammer. Remember, the scammer's still out there. He's still out there. And obviously you saw when he got arrested, he dropped the baggie. So he's involved. And you get hooked up with this cat. And if you don't know him, just type in DC Born Rob Scammer and you'll see a bunch of videos, see his face. Know who I'm talking about, because if you're one of my newer viewers, you may not be aware of this cat, but he's bad news, and he's and I've been told, in private, that he has offered them girls and drugs. So remember, and you don't know what you're getting anyway, and even if you're getting it real, the quality is probably so crazy that you may end up crazy and end up homeless. That's one of the saddest stories that I've had to do, is report the fact that there are homeless Americans and other tourists from other countries too, ending up in Medellín, Colombia, homeless, and some not in their right mind. Now, it could happen from being drugged and robbed, and the drug. Remember, the people that give you these drugs are not doctors. They're not nurses. They don't know what portion to give you. And I don't think they really care that much about it anyway. Hence the reason I say they should be up on attempted murder charges and murder charges in some cases. But I mean, this may possibly be one of the reasons why Americans are ending up homeless there, and of course dying because somebody gave you a drug and it just didn't. I mean, everybody's body is going to react to different things differently, and it totally depends on your health too. And could be your DNA. I mean, just like for the past, you've been watching me for years, during COVID, we were here together. If you were here with me, I was running from COVID. I've had like 30 tests, especially if you include going in and out of the country, which I still did. So, and you had to get tested coming and going and all this when they opened it back up. So I've had like 30 tests, all negative. But I was running from it at that point, but that was because I just didn't feel comfortable with it. I had diabetes. I was overweight. I just watched a video, man. I think it was on a scammer. And man, I looked at myself and I was like, damn, what was I eating? What was I drinking? And I was just living my best life, and just consuming everything. But now I'm more careful as far as what I put in my body. So I knew whenever I got this now, I wasn't worried about it. It's just like a cold. This will pass in a couple of days. I just don't want to get anybody else sick. But I'm going to the gym. If I got to go at 3 a.m. because I feel like I can. I got that energy still, even while I'm affected this way. But keep in mind, everybody's going to react to it differently. If you're not in good physical health, it's going to affect you differently. Whereas if you are a bodybuilder, now you could be a bodybuilder and it still affects you. That there's always a scenario. But I mean, be as healthy as you can. Number one, cut down on your drinking, especially when you're out in public, and drink at home, pour your own drinks if you got to drink. There's enough videos to tell you how it affects you negatively. I'm not preaching. This is one thing I can't preach because I still drink. I want me an espresso martini tonight, but I ain't getting one. But it is what it is. You are not yourself after one drink. I recognized that years ago. Just look at me again, like Big Brother Rob in this case. I'm not preaching. I'm just passing on what I've already gone through and what I've already experienced and what I've already viewed. And it's not just a case of myself. I mean, especially being my age, I've seen a lot. So I watch a lot and I record this stuff a lot. And you guys tell me a lot of stuff too. And I can put all these things together and say, yeah. And I've been there. So I've seen people wilding out. I've seen some of you brothers wilding out in the park, drunk, yelling out the N-word. I mean, just like you in your own hood. I've seen it. And you better believe somebody's always watching. I just watched this other brother earlier who's a vlogger from Colombia. I don't really watch a lot of other vloggers on Colombia, but I caught one of his videos, man, and he put it out there. He put it out there for real. I sent him a note, posted on his page if he'd like to come on and share some of that feedback. But Medellin's not for the novice. Rest assured, it's not for the novice. You got to be on your P's and Q's. Okay. It is dangerous, but best we can do is mitigate. I recognize you guys are going to go. You guys are going to go drinking. I'm just saying, mitigate. Have somebody watch your back. There's so many rules. I can't list them. Stop wearing jewelry, just the obvious things, have money to give away, use a cheap phone. There's a list of things, and guys will comment on this video. Do this, have the IDs checked at the hotel. Make sure you stay at a place that has a guard. I mean, there's so many precautions you can take, but you can still get got, no matter what you do. So just mitigate as best you can. I recognize again, and I say this almost every video, guys are going to go, regardless of what I say or anybody else say. And of course, I don't recommend going or not going. I'll just say I'll go, but then I'm not out there chasing chicks at 2 a.m. in the morning either. So, but it has to be said by somebody. If you are watching this video and you made it this far in the video, then you're probably a traveler to Medellin. You probably have been there before, or you want to go for the first time and you want to be prepared. That's the proper thing to do. Research the country before you're going to go. It doesn't have to be Colombia. You could be going to El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico, Guatemala. You need to investigate and do due diligence, like watching videos like this before you head down. You just need to be aware. More than anything, being aware. Somebody's always watching you from the moment you land. Somebody's watching you on that plane. You don't know who anybody is. You don't know who security is, who TSA on that, whatever they call them on that side is, immigration. You don't know who anybody is. So don't trust anybody and just do due diligence and do your research. Hopefully this video helped as far as hearing things from the numbers. Again, I think the reason that crime has gone up is just because so many people are going. There's so many YouTube vloggers and they make it look, it is beautiful. I'm going to tell you, I still, to this date, I've never seen a place like Parquilleras in that whole area. It's tropical. There's different birds. I mean, the weather's good. You got good scenery. The girls look good. I mean, but, it's deceptive if you're not careful. So be on your P's and Q's. Make sure you got a partner to roll with. Make sure you got a couple of partners to roll with. Get by Sweet Georgia Cafe when you land. That's your home base. If you walk in Sweet Georgia Cafe and nobody is there, sit down. Grab a drink or grab a soda, grab something to eat and sit there for a while. Sit there for an hour, sit there for 2 hours. You will meet people coming and going. Talk to them. If you're not the type of brother, and when I say brother, I'm talking travel brother. I don't care color, white, all that. Just talk. And Sweet Georgia Cafe is not about that either. Yeah, there's a lot of brothers, black brothers there, but there's white, Asian, everybody that comes through there. So don't look at it like, oh man, it's to me black. No, you need to cut that out. We Americans, when we leave at that point, and Europeans, and we just tourists. So come, get put on point. There's a few brothers there that are there all the time. If you run into my partner Ed there, he'll put you on game. Ask these people who live there. Ask Rob, the owner of Sweet Georgia Cafe. Introduce yourself. Yo, man, I watched DC Rob. He told me to give you a shout out, man. Tell Rob. Rob said, hey, make sure you get by there. Number one, the food is good. The drinks are at a reasonable price. They got girls that work there. Always something going on festive. So you can get there for Thanksgiving. There'll be a Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas meals, 4th of July party in the park. There's always something going on. But that is your hub. Make sure you get there. This is your base. If you take nothing else from this video, get by Sweet Georgia Cafe. Talk to other people. Talk to other people. When you sit at a bar, don't just sit there and watch sports on TV. Talk to the guy next to you, man. Hey, my name is Jim. Where you from? I mean, common opener. Doesn't matter who you're talking to. Girl, guy, anywhere in the world. Where you from? Oh, I'm from Wyoming. I'm from Wyoming. I've been to Wyoming. Where you from? Oh, I'm from D.C. Man, I met a cat there when I first moved there that lived 2 blocks from me, where I grew up at. So right off the bat, we hit it off. So and his name was Gogo. That was his nickname. Anyway, so talk to people. Again, travel. You don't have to travel to Medellin. You can go to Thailand. I like the fact that Thailand is so far because there's not a lot of Americans there. When I travel, I don't want to see a lot of Americans, but I have a base of a community that I surround myself with. So if I come up missing, it's known. Make sure when you get by there that you let people know I'm going to be here for a week, blah, blah, blah. Make sure, I'm going to come back through and you don't see old boy again. Start looking for him. somebody notices somebody's missing, reach out to me. dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com. dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com. Don't send it to my other email. I won't see it. I have 7 emails. I don't even want to go through that again. I got so many emails, Twitter. I'm busy and I have a job. Okay. So that takes all up during the day. And then 5 o'clock, I just switch. Literally, I switch screens and I start creating videos. And normally I'm creating videos for the next day. Sometimes if it's something breaking, I'll do it the same day, but I have to do, that's how I get the dates off. Sometimes I got to do it when I can and post it when it should be posted. But anyway, hopefully this information, I'm starting to ramble, I can tell at this point. And if you made it this far in this video, you are my favorite viewers. I'm telling you, for real. Anybody who watches my videos to the end, you are truly my favorite viewers. Thank you so much for the donations. If anybody wants to help this channel, donations definitely help me keep going, as well as the positive comments and positive feedback in the comment section. Because the negative ones, I got to skip on past, man. The more people to watch, the more negative people I'm going to get. It is what it is. Part of the game, par for the course. Anyway, again, guys, I want you to travel, but travel safe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
On behalf of the flight crew, thank you for flying with us and have a pleasant day.
Headed to Medellín, Colombia? See my guy Andres with Nomad Travel for safe airport pickups and drop-offs and tours. Contact information in the description below.